In the part 2 of module 1, we have seen the architecture of 8085 and we have seen different classification of microprocessor 8085 operations. In this part, we will be concentrating on the microprocessor initiated operations and the bus organization of 8085. Okay, so for the microprocessor initiated operations, we are having four kind of operations: the memory read operation, memory write, IO read, and IO write. So these are the four operations associated with microprocessor initiated operations. So in order to perform the microprocessor initiated operation, you need to have three steps. So first is to identify the peripheral or memory location. Either you are going to access a memory location or you are going to access an IO device. Whatever it might be, we need to identify it using an address location. So after that, we are going to do the transfer of data, the binary information. Either you are going to read it or you are going to write it. Okay, and the third thing is that the control unit or the timing and control unit provide the necessary timing and synchronization signals for these operations. Now before we go to the operation, let's see the bus organization of 8085. So this is the bus structure of 8085. Till now what we have seen is that we are discussed about the system bus. Now we are going to see the divisions inside that. You are going to have the address bus, data bus, and control bus. So the address bus is actually of size 16 bits. We are having a 16-bit address, A0 to A15. We are having some modifications in it. We will come to it later. So the address bus is of size 16 bits. Out of the 16 bits, 8 bits is being demultiplexed with the data bus. Okay, so before that, now let's consider the address bus as 16 bits. You can see the address bus at the top. It is having 16 bits. It is unidirectional. Okay, coming to the data bus, it is D0 to D7. It is 8 bits and it is bidirectional. Either you will be reading or writing from a memory or an IO device. Okay, it is bidirectional. You can see it in the green color. So to the memory you can either read or write. From the, in the case of IO devices, in the case of input device you are going to read the data. In the case of output device you are going to write the data. So you can see the corresponding directions. So it is actually D0 to D7, but when you come to the real case, this D0 to D7 is being multiplexed with A0 to A7. It will be called as AD0 to AD7. Okay, and coming to the control bus, the control signals passes through the control bus and it is again unidirectional. So in this structure you can see that you are having three parts: the address bus, the data bus, and control bus. Okay, so let's take an example of a typical microprocessor initiated operation. Now let's consider a memory read operation. Suppose you are going to, the processor want to read an instruction from a memory location. So what are the procedures that should happen? So the microprocessor places the 16-bit address on the data bus. So based on the 16-bit address, you are going to have an external circuitry, a logic circuitry, which takes the 16-bit address which is coming from the microprocessor, and it decodes the address and find out the corresponding location in your memory. Okay, now when the corresponding location is found, the microprocessor sends a pulse saying that it is going to read, it is going to perform a read operation. So to a memory you can either read from memory or you can write it. So right now, since you want to perform a read operation, you are going to give the memory read signal, and that will activate the memory chip. Now the address is being found. and from that address you are going to read the data, and you are going to take an 8-bit data from that particular. You're going to take a 8-bit data from the corresponding memory location, and you're going to place it in your data bus, and from that it will be bought into the microprocessor. Now let's see the diagram of the memory read operation. You can see you are having the microprocessor 8085, the address bus, the data bus, and the control signal memory. Okay, so you are going to provide the 16-bit memory address through the address bus. The memory address will be decoded by a memory decoder. So based on the decoded value, a corresponding memory location inside the memory chip will be selected, and inside that particular location you're going to have 8-bit data. So in a particular location you're going to have a 8-bit data, and since you're going to do the memory read operation, this mem r signal will go low, which means that you're going to do a memory read operation. Since it is a active low signal, when it goes low you're going to perform the memory read operation. So from the corresponding memory location based on the memory address, that particular data will be brought to the databus, and from the databus the data will be taken by the microprocessor. And now the pin configuration and functions. We already seen the pin configuration and functions in the first part and second part. We are having 40 pins and the associated names of each pin. We are seeing the division of signals. Now coming to the generation of control signals for the external operation. Okay. Now based on the different control and status signals, we are going to perform different operations in memory or in I/O. We are seeing this particular table and the corresponding values of the status signals. If the I/O bar M bar value is 0, it means that you are going to perform an memory operation. If that value is 1, you are going to perform a I/O operation. Okay, now we'll consider the memory interfacing, how you can interface the memory using 8085. Now you're going to have a memory unit, a memory chip. In this example, now if you are taking 8085, 8085 is capable of addressing a memory chip of 64K locations. So that is the maximum limit, and the memory, if the memory is having less number of locations, that's fine. The only thing is that it from the microprocessor you will be reducing the number of address lines. Okay, so that's why it has been represented as, in the memory chip it has been represented as A0 to AX. It can be either 1 or it can be a value bigger than that. And when you're taking the data from the memory, you're going to have an 8 bits, so that's why it is being represented as D0 to D7. Okay, now we are having 3 more signals. Write enable, you are going to use, if you are going to write, you are going to use the signal write enable. And suppose you're going to select, suppose there is an option to have a number of memories. In order to select a particular memory, you are using the chip select, that is CS bar. Okay, now we'll see a chip select logic. Suppose you are connected some 16 memory chips to the microprocessor. So in order to differentiate this 16 memory chips, if you want to select a particular memory chip, you can use an 4-bit address to differentiate this 16 memory chips. Now you can make a decoder for that. Now you can see an example decoder in which you are using the address line A12 to A15 to select a particular memory chip. Inside that particular memory chip you can select a particular location, that is the next case. But how to select a particular memory chip? Okay, so first you are going to select a particular memory chip. Inside that particular memory chip you are having a number of locations, that is the next part. Okay, so in this case you are going to select a particular memory chip. So if you take the second example, in order to select the corresponding memory chip, this CS bar signal should be 0. That's how you select it. Now if you are giving a address as 1110, in this case this NAND gate will give you a 0 value. That means that chips select signal is active. It is active low signal, so you are going to generate a 0. In that case, that particular memory is being selected. Now as we have seen that for 8085 we are using the data bus and the lower order address bus as common. Okay, so why we are going for the demultiplexing logic over here? That basically reduces the number of pins. So over here, this is a basic diagram. Suppose you are going to read a data from the memory. First you are going to give the address. In that case, A8 to A15 is definitely the address, the higher order address. You are going to access the memory location 2005. So 2005 is your memory location. It is a hex value, so 2005 is basically 16 bits. Okay, so out of this 2005, 20, the upper part is being placed in the address bus A8 to A15, and the lower part, that is the lower half, 05H, that is being placed in the bus AD0 to AD7. Okay, so initially in order to select the particular memory location, you are using the this particular bus AD0 and AD7 as address bus, so it will be used as A0 to A7. Okay, so in A0 to A7 you are having 05, in A8 to A15 you are having 20H. So a combination of these two, 200H, you are going to select a particular memory location. So it is being, you are going to select 2005 location. In 2005H location you are having the data 4F. Now you found the location and you are going to read the data, and the data present in 2005H is 4FH. Okay, now this bus AD0 to AD7 has to be utilized as data bus. You will have to consider it as D0 to D7. So right now the purpose of this bus is being acting as a data bus. 4F data will be given to the particular bus, and that data will be taken by 8085, the microprocessor. Now in order to perform this operation, you need to have a demultiplexing. So let's see how do we perform that operation. Okay, now as we are seeing the control signal ALE, what is the purpose of this ALE? Okay, now you can see a latch has been placed over there. So when you start a operation, now take the memory read operation. Suppose you are starting the memory read operation, you are going to activate this ALE signal. Okay, now initially in order to read something from the memory, you need to give the address. So initially itself this ALE will be high. You are going to give it as a, you're going to activate ALE, or you're going to give the positive pulse over there. Now the ALE signal is being given. So at that time AD7 to AD0 will be having the address, the lower order address. It will be having A7 to A0. So that data will be saved inside the latch. Okay, now the latch holds that address A7 to A0. So the combination of A7 to A0, A15 to A8, you are having the 16-bit address. Okay, after that since this address is present inside the latch, it is being stored inside the latch. Now after that you are going to read the data D7 to D0. It is basically bidirectional. In this diagram it has shown as unidirectional, but this is actually bidirectional. The data bus is used as bidirectional. Now you can say that you are going to read or write the data through the data bus. So if you are reading from the memory, the data will be kept into the data bus D7 to D0, and it will be taken by 8085. Otherwise, if you are going to write into the memory location, data will be kept into the data bus by the 8085, and you are going to write into the corresponding memory location. So in this point, after finding the location, you are going to use this bus as data bus. Okay, but the address remains there. Why? Because the latch holds the initial address value. So there is a need for demultiplexing of data and address bus. Now let's see how the control signals are generated. Okay, so from 8085 you are having two control signals, RD bar and WR bar, both are active low signals. Okay, now mm, from these two control signals you want to generate four control signals. Okay, you want to write into the memory or to the IO device, basically the output device. If whether you want to write or read from memory as well as IO. Okay, so you need to have four control signals: memory read, memory write, IO read, IO write. Okay, in order to differentiate that, you are having the status signal IO bar M bar. If IO bar M bar is 0, means that you're going to perform a memory operation. If it is 1, means that you're going to perform an IO operation. So from this three signals you are going to generate corresponding four signals. Okay, now you can see the diagram. So based on the values you generate, the 8085 generate either mem read or mem write or IO read or IO write. Any one of these four will be active. Okay, active means if memory read is active, means that value will be 0, the other three values will be 1. That's how you activate it. Why? Because you are using the active low signals. Okay, so based on any combination, the we have seen the table, the corresponding table in the previous slide. Okay, based on that combination, either any one of the corresponding four control signals will be generated. Okay, now putting it all together, how you are going to access a memory chip. Okay, now you can see that you are using a 1 kilobyte memory. Okay, in order to represent the 1 kilobyte memory, you need to have 10 address bits. 10 address bits are enough to represent 1 kilobyte of memory. So you have to use A0 to A9. Okay, so the remaining bits A10 to A15 can be used to drive, or you can be used to have the chip selection. Okay, since you are only accessing a 1 kilobyte memory, so this memory chip is having a capacity of 1 kilobytes. Okay, so all the address bits are not required. You will be utilizing the address bits A0 to A9. So the remaining bits A10 to A15 can be used for the chip select logic. Okay, now so you can see A15 to A8, that is the upper order address, and coming to the second part is the address latch enable signal. The corresponding latch is there, which is used to hold the address A0 to A7 initially. After that, this bus is being utilized to have the data. Okay, D7 to D0, AD7 to AD0 in the later part will be used as D7 to D0. That is actually bidirectional. Okay, the diagram is shown as unidirectional. It is actually bidirectional. Okay, now from the three control signals, the basically two control signals, read write as well as the status signal IO bar M bar, you are going to generate either mem read, mem write, IO read or IO write. In this case, since you are going to access the memory chip, you will be using the mem read and mem write. Okay, so that's how you read a data from the memory or write a data to the memory. Okay, now one more example is, suppose you are going to interface a 4K logic, 4K memory chip. You are going to have a memory chip and the capacity is 4 kilobytes. So in order to represent 4 kilobytes, you need to have 12 address lines. Okay, so you don't have to use the entire 16 address lines. You will be using the 12 address lines A0 to A11. Okay, it is a small diagram. In the previous diagram, we have seen the entire combination. Right now, we are just going to the very basics. Okay, so since you are going to access a 4K memory, A0 to A11 is sufficient. That means you are using 12 address lines to select a particular memory location. And using the other 4 bits, you can select the corresponding chip. Okay, and the corresponding memory read and memory write signals will be generated. Okay, so this the same thing what we have seen in the previous slides, or the control signal generation and the multiplexing all together. So you are having the address latch enabled, the particular signal is there to differentiate the address as well as data, and you can see the control signal generation using this particular logic. So we are seeing the basics of a microprocessor, and we are seeing the microprocessor 8085, its architecture, its operation, and what are the bus structure and the method of generating the control signals. In the next module, we will be seeing the instruction sets and the methods of accessing different I/O devices. Thank you.